let me kind of do what we always do, talk about current events and what's going on. We still have a war in Iran. I'm not sure that it's going to end anytime soon. They just seized 2 more boats. Iran did today, so that battle's going to continue to go on. We see it impacting the real estate business because it throws concern and uncertainty into the real estate buying process. And it's interesting because in 2025, there were the least home sales in America since 2012 in a year. So that's a long 13 years, least home sales in 13 years. AGI, we talked about last time, artificial general intelligence is headed our way. 2 companies just announced that they were unveiling it before year end. AGI is 100 times stronger and more productive than ChatGPT. So it's the combination of the data centers around the country being applied at the same time to solve a problem. Quantum computing is moving in that direction as well. I think it'll probably take 2 to 3 years before the major quantum computing has a lot of impact. I personally think that between the end of this year and the middle of next year, you're going to see more jobs shed by major corporations than we've seen terminated for years and years and years. We'll see whether I'm right or not, but that's my guess.
Quick question on AGI. One of the things I kind of am concerned about is when the year 2000 ended up hitting us, there was concern about planes falling from the skies and things like that. I have more concerns about quantum computing and the fact that people are going to try and corrupt our data systems and other things like that. Has there been any information that you've been gathering with respect to the general concern in business and in the government?
I would say, Bill, it is a general concern for sure. And I think that as best I can tell from the outside, Trump has figured out it's coming, both AGI and because he just released rehiring jobs for the federal government after Doge did what they did and Musk did what he did. So I think that he has a pretty good sensitivity to what's coming ahead. And I think that the Democrats will win the midterm election in spite of anything anybody can do, because I think so. I don't see them being able to maneuver gas prices and the inflationary numbers down fast enough and quick enough to have an impact that we'd hoped it'd have on people and the general population. For those of you who haven't looked at it, there's an absolutely terrific article in Boston Magazine this month. Get it and read it, because it's the best article I've seen in the last 5 years on the state of the mess in Massachusetts. And it's absolutely upon us. 33,000 people left Massachusetts last year, and colleges are beginning to shut down. Private college just smaller ones just announced it was closing this week, and you're going to see a big impact on that because the federal funding's gone from these state colleges and universities in a way that it hasn't been lessened for a long time because of the administration. And so it's going to have an impact. And the article in Boston Magazine is one of the best articles I've seen in the last 5 years. It's worth grabbing a copy. It's Current Magazine and reading, because it describes all the dilemmas Massachusetts is facing, and there are plenty of them.
And I'll bet you it's common to many states.
It's of course common. It's common to Michigan, common to Minnesota, Wisconsin, except Minnesota has had someplace between 9 and 19 billion of fraud in their healthcare system in Minnesota under Governor Walz. So that's going to take a long time. I don't know whether you looked at Ilhan Omar's financial statement or not, but when she became a representative in the U.S. House, her net worth was $3,750. In her disclosure statement 2 weeks ago, it was $37 million. And she said, oh, she just hadn't looked at it carefully enough. So can you imagine? Only in America.
What came out today in Los Angeles? Somebody shut down 400 hospice businesses, and they said this is going to be catastrophic. And they said, well, we shut them down, but there wasn't one complaint from anyone.
Well, because there was nobody in any of them.
That's right.
And California's got the same dilemma Minnesota had.
Mm-hmm.
Except in Minnesota, it was the Somalis that really infiltrated and caused all the corruption in Minnesota. In Los Angeles, that's everybody. California has got major, major problems. So,
Who's picking up most of that flight? Does New Hampshire get some of it, or is it going?
it's going to Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and New Hampshire. New York's got exactly the same problem. There's thousands of people fleeing New York and going to Florida. That's the reason the in-migration is so big. Ron's from Palm Beach, Florida, and his background is in the wholesale diamond business, and he's working on getting he and his family into the commercial real estate business. And that's why he's been up here for 3 days picking my brain to see how much smarter he is than I am. So,
Good luck.
What's going on with the Patriots? Are they moving up to New Hampshire?
no.
It's just a bunch of bullshit.
No, they'll stay here. So, anyway, I wanted to take you through tonight something that, if you participate and do it, will be life-changing for you. That's the only thing I'll guarantee you. So go to the 2026 Personal and Business Plan, dated May 1st, 26 to December 31st, 28. And let's go to the first page inside. And what I want you to do, and we'll take these home with you tonight and work on them until our next meeting, which is June
3rd at 6 p.m.
June 3rd at 6 p.m. We'll caucus again. And I want you to work on these in between now and then. So the first page, I want you to think about how you want to be living, what you want to be earning, where you want to be living, what you want your personal life to look like, what you want your family life to look at 10 years from now. So just make a note to yourself. It's everything about where I want to be 10 years from now. And I'll share some interesting insight with you. If you take time, think about this, and write it down, you'll be amazed where you end up 10 years from now is exactly where you wanted to be. There's some interesting magic formula that when you go through this process and write down the things I'm going to ask you to write down, that your energy shifts and makes the things you write down and focus on happen. That's all I can guarantee you. I've been doing this for 35 years now, keeping track of it every year. I thought I was wealthy 35 years ago, and a lot's changed since then. So, second page. Why do you think you're alive on the planet today? What's your mission? What are you meant to do? What do you like to do? What do you enjoy doing? What do you want to do more of? How do you help the people around you? But really, what are you on the planet for today and alive today here on planet Earth? And think about that and write out your destiny statement. And if you think about it really carefully, you'll find it interesting when you get done with it. So, third page. Write down the number $50 at the top of the page. And a 10, write down the word $50 and write day, D-A-Y, behind it. $50 and day, D-A-Y, behind it.
In one of these columns?
No, just at the top of the page, because I'm going to help you start filling out the pages now. A 10 is something you could do to celebrate a really great day. Costs $50 or less to 0, and I'm going to give you some thoughts, and then you get to fill in between now and the next time 72 thoughts. So the first thought is, if you were going to have one last meal, what would you want for dinner? What's your favorite food? Write it down in paragraph, page 1. What's your favorite food? Wouldn't that be a good way to celebrate a great day? So what did you write down, Mike?
I was at a meeting and somebody made chili, and it
Yeah.
was the best chili I had.
So chili's on
So
your
that's-
list? Good for you.
that's what
Bill,
came to mind.
what did you write down?
Asian fusion.
What kind,
Yes.
specifically?
Mixture of, locality stuff and Japanese food.
Okay,
A fisherman's platter.
all right. Tyler, what'd you write down?
Baked haddock.
Okay, Shelley, Kelly.
Salmon.
good. Bianca,
A nice steak,
what kind of a steak?
tomahawk.
All right. So, secondly, what's your favorite dessert? Write down your favorite dessert.
Pecan pie.
Good. Alan,
Boston cream pie.
do you know that Jenny's makes a really good ice cream called Boston cream pie? You ever had it?
Is Jenny's,
Jenny's ice cream. You can
No.
buy it at Whole Foods.
wow, no.
If you love Boston cream pie, go buy a pint of Jenny's ice cream, Boston cream pie.
Thanks for the tip.
How was that Dubai chocolate I gave you?
It was
a couple
good.
months ago?
Thank you.
Okay.
Bill, what's your favorite dessert?
I was torn between creme brulee and ginger ice cream.
They're both good.
Now I wanna put down something like, I put down cheesecake.
What kind of cheesecake?
I like it plain.
Okay,
Peach ice cream from Benson's.
good. It's good. Gifford's makes better.
How about Bella's Creamery? Anyone go there?
No?
It was on the radio on the food show, restaurant show.
What's your favorite non-alcoholic beverage?
Water.
Water?
Simple.
Okay, that's all right.
Tea.
What kind of tea?
It varies. I like both green tea and Chinese tea.
Good.
Pomegranate, polar pomegranate.
Okay. Mike?
I like those buzzy waters in the can, you know, like pomegranate or black cherry or something.
Okay.
like that.
Ron?
Water with electrolytes in it.
Okay. Bianca?
I'm kind of the same, like there's nothing like a nice glass of water, maybe a little slice of lemon.
Okay, there's water over here, by the way, for those of you who want a glass.
Think of it.
So, what's your favorite alcoholic beverage?
Oh, many.
Who's your favorite actor that you'd go watch a movie with them in it?
Classic or current?
Anything, any movie. Who's your favorite actor or actress?
Hey,
I like the guy in Predators. Not not Arnold. It was the follow-up one.
Yeah,
Can't think of his name.
I don't know his name. Who's your favorite entertainer? Do you like listening to a song by or? Now, the objective is to find 72 things that you would enjoy doing a lot to have a great day at the end of the day. Because what I've learned in my old age is that very few people live life. They participate and pass through life, but they never really have a great life because they never figure out what they really enjoy doing till it's too late. So this is designed to have you find 72 ways to celebrate a great day. Nick, read 3 or 4 or 5 of them.
Go for a run, go to the gym, watch the Bruins, play guitar, read a book, go for a walk, watch the Bruins, watch Seinfeld, go on Instagram, call a friend.
All right. That's the process. We start with a great day. Flip over. 25s and write this at the top. 2% of your annual gross income. %2 of your annual gross income for a great month. So, a weekend trip to New York or Boston or Palm Beach or Chicago or San Francisco or LA or something that you would enjoy doing to celebrate a great month. New suit, new shoes, new clothes, taking your family someplace for the weekend. Anything that you can think of that doesn't cost more than 2% of your annual income, and just write down the number at the top of the page, whatever your income is, and think about what you would do to celebrate a great month. So Nick, I'm going to have you read some of your 25s so that gets everybody kicked off.
Go to a Bruins game, go to Block Island, go to Newport, go to a Providence Bruins game, buy a new suit, buy a new guitar, go to a concert, sign up and run a race, go to Florida, Ballyhoo concert, which is a band I like, buy more stocks, pay off my car, play music gig, buy a new hockey stick.
Okay. So 72 again to celebrate a great month. Anybody else want to share some things they do to celebrate a great month? This is participatory, so you got to share. Mike, what are you going to do to celebrate a great month? All the tenants paid their rent on time?
That's every freaking month. Don't worry about that. I'm not in business to make friends. I'm in that business to make money.
I understand.
I took a long time rehabbing this building.
Yeah.
Of course, it went twice as much and twice as long.
Go on.
And then some mistakes. that I shouldn't have made.
Yeah,
And I was on a cruise from Montreal to Boston, because
yeah,
there's some way back relatives in Montreal.
yeah,
And then they got captured by Indians and inbred. Well, that's the story. So we went from Montreal down to Boston. But I didn't realize that the plane fare to go up Air Canada and stay overnight was as much as if I took the cruise round trip. If I went from Boston up to Montreal and then Montreal back.
to Boston.
So I had a good time on that. That wasn't the usual Carnival
Yep,
gain 10 pounds cruise that I go on with real estate groups.
yep,
So I'd probably do that.
good. Gang, other thoughts?
I'd like to find a nice beach with warm water to soak in.
Okay, write it down, put it on your list. Alan,
Take a cruise,
where?
Bermuda.
Okay, be very, and when you write these things down, be very specific. Okay? The more specific, the more likely they are to happen. Let's flip over the page. Right at the top, 10% of your annual income, and this is things you would do to celebrate a great year. So it might be buy a 2-family, take your family to Europe, take a long vacation in Florida or Japan or Mexico, okay? Buy a home in Mexico, buy a home in Palm Beach, take a little more than 10% of your annual income for most of you here, but think big and think about what you would do if you had an absolutely great year and you earned the most income you've ever earned in the year and had the most fun, because this is designed for you to have a fun life, not be a non-participant. So any thoughts? What would you do to celebrate a great year?
I've got a house down in Dartmouth,
Good.
right on the lake.
Good.
I mean, from here to the glass doors, and I keep putting off rehabbing that. So what I'd like to do is, put all new windows in,
Yeah,
those European ones,
Yeah.
with the 2 hinges, so they'll hinge this way
Yeah.
and this way. Yeah,
Good.
I'd like to spring
Bill?
for that.
Family vacation, whenever I can.
where?
The last one we took was in Japan, but it doesn't really matter. Maybe Europe, somewhere.
Where in Europe?
Probably skiing.
Okay.
In
Switzerland? The Alps?
It would be probably border of Italy and France.
Okay. Alan?
I'd do a Mediterranean vacation.
Where?
Greece or Italy, or both.
Okay.
I would learn golf, like get a new set and then pay for someone for the instructions.
Good. Bianca?
I would get a townhouse in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
I'd like to rent a house on a beach with all my children and grandchildren.
And how many children and grandchildren do you have?
3 children, 2 grandchildren.
Okay, so 6 of you.
Yeah.
Tyler?
Buy a condo or a multifamily.
Where?
Somewhere close to home in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, okay.
Yeah.
I had a 2 to 4 family home in North Andover,
Good, good. Let's hear some, Nick.
A week in Playa Car, Mexico, a week in Aruba, a week in Huntington Beach, which I just did 2 months ago, record a new song at a pro studio, buy a hot tub, custom shop guitar, buy a multifamily in Narragansett, Rhode Island.
These are pretty much the same things that you do. You had a good year, aren't they?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Not necessarily.
I think guitar has been on every single one of his lists.
I was waiting for the Bruins to
Sure, there's a theme, yeah.
Bruins, too.
And the beach has been
I wouldn't pay 38 cents to go to a Bruins game, but I'm not a hockey guy. All right. Flip over. And I want you to write down this just exactly as I say it and give it to you. Something I want to own, acquire, accomplish, be, do, or be recognized for in my lifetime. So way fewer, but what you want to accomplish, be, do, own, acquire, have in your lifetime. Nick, why don't you give us 4 or 5 of yours?
Buy an oceanfront property in Narragansett, Rhode Island by age 32. Visit all 7 continents by age 35. Write a book by the time I'm 30. Real estate development focus by age 30. Buy at least 1 property per year starting in 2027.
Good, all good. So, anybody else think of some they want to share? Alan, what do you want to do?
Going back between altruistic and selfish. So
You can do both.
both.
Doesn't make any difference which.
One would definitely be to buy an Aston Martin.
Okay,
And
good.
Another would be to set up, I'd like to buy an investment property and set it up in a trust for different family members.
Okay. Bill, what about you?
I'd like to start a family trust.
So, tomorrow's a good day to start.
Yes.
Mike?
I donate money to a bunch of things.
Yeah,
And I think, and someone asked me about Habitat for Humanity,
yeah,
and I think that's the absolute worst thing you can put money into. And it's because I was involved in that, and they selected the buyers. And I said, well, this is great, you're all set. Friends can come over and, maybe you can help them with something. They said, oh, no, because we only have to make 2 payments. And then if we skip 6 before they kick us out, we make 2 more. And I said, you money grabbing son of a gun. You're lucky I didn't hear this at the beginning. But there was Operation Hilo,
yeah,
when North Carolina
Yeah.
tornado hit or something. And the guy, he brought his helicopters down. He was lifting food and medicine to
Yeah.
the people in the hills. And he put the word out on the radio station. And there were so many helicopters that showed up and so much jet fuel for them that they were just overwhelmed with it. I sent a bunch of money down. I like that.
good.
But one thing I'm working on now is in the Bible, Jesus admonishes a rich guy. He said, you helped someone and you're bragging about it.
Yeah,
Now, if you help the guy, that's good. If you brag about it, that's just you self-aggrandizing,
Yeah.
patting yourself on the back. That's bad.
well, I don't know if it's bad, but I think that's a truism.
Mhm.
The act is more important than the credit.
Right. So I'm thinking about that when I do stuff now.
I would want to own a farm in South Carolina.
How big?
So I would want it big enough to support my family. My main thing is I feel like I'm very conscious on what I eat.
Yeah,
And I feel like the only way in today's world to really make sure you're eating healthy is to own your entire process. So it would be enough to support family, but at that point, I would want to maybe expand it into a farm stand or something.
well, a family can be well supported on less than 10 acres. A farm is generally considered to be much more than 10 acres. So think about purpose, write it down. Chances are you'll probably have one day. Bianca, what about you?
Own a restaurant.
No.
No.
The business is so tough. So a good restaurant's labor cost is 20% and food cost is 25%. And today labor costs are running 28 to 30 and food costs are running 30 to 40. So That's the reason you're seeing restaurants go out of business if you look right and left.
Okay.
So I'm not so excited about you owning a restaurant, but it's all right.
It's a tough business, you're right.
It's a really tough business.
Well, I've had this on my list for a long time, and I'm not sure it will ever come through, but I have compassion for the teenagers in this world that don't know which way they're going. And so I would like to come up with an idea for them, or a place they can go. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the solution is, but I feel like they're not being guided properly.
Probably the best solution is no cell phones until they graduate from college.
But something more realistic, something that,
Well, a lot of states are passing no cell phones in high schools anymore.
no, I think that's a great idea, and I think the social media is really killing their self-esteem and has risen the suicide rate.
Yep,
Because they think everybody's having a good time on Facebook.
yep,
But they're really not, it's all fake. But, like, there was an article in the paper about Tuscan Village, and the same group of teenagers are always causing problems, you know? And so I wrote, why doesn't someone open up an under 21 music hall for them
Yep.
to go to? And there was a lot of negativity after my thoughts. But that's what they need to socialize.
they need to have someplace they can go and have one-on-one contact.
Yeah.
I think it's the Bourne Bridge, or maybe the Sagamore, there's a sign, you know, thinking about jumping, call Good Samaritans, and the phone number's there. And then at the end of the bridge, it's help wanted, Good Samaritans. And I thought that was ironic. Good placement, so you'd call and not know that they were understaffed until you had made the call.
What's 100 for you?
Own 10 doors by the time I'm 40.
Good, good. Nick?
Buy oceanfront property by age 32. Actually, I already gave those
Yep.
one more. Flip
Yep.
4 homes per year starting in 2028. Be the commissioner of a men's league, hockey league. Member at the Dunes Club, which is a beach club down in Rhode Island. Purchase a boat in 2028. And business consulting and coaching business starting in 2030.
Good. My friends who own boats say the second best day they ever had with a boat was the day they bought it, and the best day was the day they sold it.
I've heard the same thing. I gotta give it a shot though.
Did you say you were gonna buy a boat?
Yeah.
Okay, there's 5 boats I go out on fishing for tuna, out of Gloucester and Marblehead and Plymouth. And these guys have very expensive boats. One is a 31.5 Conquest, that's a Boston whaler. And he decided to sell it and move up. And it's a 2019. And they offered him $350,000. Okay? Another guy, a dentist, that's a good friend of mine, he's got a fountain boat. That's like the apex.
Yeah.
That the Bushes would own one of those. And that boat does 60 miles an hour. Okay? And I said, hey man, let me give you some dough for the gas. And he says, forget it, you know. I just got this because to get to the fishing spots, I don't have much time. So I want to go there fast, fish, then come back fast. And you got to have burn money if you want a boat.
Oh yeah.
So
My wife, who you know, Lillian,
the 8,000 pounds tuna,
851, caught an 851 pound tuna.
I haven't
just
caught one of
showed-
those.
I have a picture of it.
Picture, just showed Ron a picture of it.
Where's that picture?
It's down in her office.
Because outside my house, there's some tuna tails that I put up as I caught them.
So it was recent?
It was so big they dragged it on the back of the boat.
Here, you can see.
Lillian's the little person next to the giant fish.
All right, if you don't mind.
Where was it that she caught it?
Off of Gloucester.
Gloucester, wow.
And it was in a tournament that she caught it.
Sorry to take a left on this
It's all right.
important hundreds page. you've told me the story every time I say I'm going out fishing.
Yeah.
And sooner or later I'll catch one, but they're all being caught now in North Carolina and Virginia.
Farther down.
They're not making it up here.
Yeah, I know.
Really next to the fish is like, where's Waldo?
All right, flip the page. Specific goals I want to accomplish prior to 12/31/28, year and 9 months from now. Personal, make a list of the things you want to accomplish personally, and then make a list of the things you want to accomplish from a business perspective. And the reason personal is first is because most people live to work, and I think you should work to live. And if you think about the connotation, it's huge. So, work on specific goals and things you want to accomplish prior to 12/31/28, year and 9 months. So Alan, what comes to mind?
I'd like to learn golf. Yeah, become good at golf.
Write it down. Bill?
I can think of two things right offhand. I want to get out of the actual business of self-storage
Yeah.
and invest in it more passively. And the second one is, that's the business one, and the personal one is we share a house down the Cape with my family, my brother and sister, and I'd like to get that into better condition.
Okay. Remind me, what do we pay for the self-storage units?
600.
And what's the net operating income now annually?
Just to taxes, so it's about 40K.
Okay. More than that, I would think.
Yeah, actually it is.
I would think so. How many units?
There's 102.
Okay. Come see me. We'll
Okay.
talk about it. Okay?
I don't have it.
What do you want to do personally and business wise in the next 19 months?
I want to be able to travel,
Yeah?
and I started a faceless YouTube channel, and I want it to be lucrative and have a passive income.
From that, okay? How often do you want to travel and where do you want to travel to?
I want to travel at least 1 month every other month.
Okay, and where do you want to travel to?
Probably to Europe. I want to go to
Where in
Greece,
Europe?
Italy. I want to see Sicily.
Yeah?
I want to.
You'll be disappointed.
I want to go to Spain, Barcelona. I want to look at the architect. at
Barcelona and Madrid are both great.
Yeah. I don't have any desire to go to the Orient. Sorry.
That's what you want to do. But if you go to Spain and you do that, and you know, my wife and I went there a couple of years ago. Take a train, and you know, stop off along the way. There are many
Yes,
things to
yes.
do.
I want to take the train up Italy too. I originally wanted to do a ship down the Mediterranean, but I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather take a train through Europe and
Oh.
stop at bed and breakfast.
We go to Italy for a month every year, and we, after 16 years ago, we started doing the same thing every time we go to Italy because we'd been all over Italy. And we picked what we thought was the best of Italy. We go to Venice for a week and the Amalfi Coast for 3 weeks. And stay in a little town called Ravello. It's a town of less than 1,000 people. And when we first started going there, they had 2 of all of Europe's 7 best hotels, called the Palazzo Avino and the Caruso. They have what I think is the best restaurant in all of Italy, and they have the best gelateria in all of Italy, side by side. It's amazing. And now, after going there 16 years, we know nearly everybody in town, so when we get there, it's kind of like Old Home Week.
That's very nice.
And then we go to Capri for a day trip and come back. And so Capri's great, but Ravello is a really special place.
You know, Ravello, my youngest daughter wanted to get married there.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very popular place for weddings. There's probably 7 or 8 weddings a day there.
And has anyone tried to talk a daughter out of the way they want to get married?
Impossible.
It won't happen. So I think I gave her like $30,000 for a deposit to start this thing. And then the Kung flu hit. And she had to get married at their house down in Kingston, which is a big house. You know, it was a big party. Nothing like the Ravello one. And I didn't get the deposit back. And I said, do you want me to talk to the people? And she said, no, I got it back right away.
I just spent it.
And and they own a nursing home down in Plymouth. And does anyone know the numbers of a nursing home? This is, there's like 50 residents. And they only take private pay of $16,200 a month.
Yep,
And there's a waiting list of 50 more people.
I know.
I mean, all the real estate I've done, I thought was pretty good. But that pales in comparison to this. And my daughter took my wife down one time for a tour. She says, Mom, you've got to see this. Now, when and if you need this, this is the best wing of our nursing home. And down here's the best room. Okay, that's where you can stay, Mom, you know, whenever you're ready. And she said, well, what about your father? She said, well, he can stay in his truck in the parking lot. And I said, hey, honey, you wouldn't be here without me. Don't forget that. Okay.
All right,
So
gang.
I don't hear anyone talking about starting a nursing home
Hard,
as an investment.
hard. We built one right up here on Central Street with 100 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And after we built it, in fact, I showed it to Ron yesterday. So we came by it. We sold it to Harvard. Harvard bought it from us.
Mm-hmm.
It was 6 years to build it to get the approvals.
This kid, this son-in-law,
Yeah.
he's an electrical engineer, and his buddy owned this place. And he said, Eli, I'm over my head here. If you'll come and work with me, you know, I'll match your electrical engineer salary, and in 8 years, I'll sell it to you.
Yeah.
So he jumped in. My daughter meets him in year 5, and I said, so what's Eli do? I know he's a very accomplished sailor with a big boat, you know. She says, oh, you know, it's a nursing home, you know. Talk about business, you know, that's awful. And then it started to dawn on her what was happening. And she's very pleased to be a
How
part
good it
owner.
is,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
So you, just curious, you think that, I get a mixed understanding. Is investing in a nursing home something worthwhile, or is it not? And I'm talking about an existing, ongoing one.
It's all about the numbers, Bill.
Right.
Okay? It's all about the numbers. I think Ron at the end of the table, if he found a independent living facility or an assisted living facility in Palm Beach, that'd be the perfect location, because the residents of Palm Beach can afford whatever it takes to stay in an assisted living facility.
Okay.
So I think it's geographic, but it's a function of the net operating income. It's like every other investment, except that it's a health intensive investment, meaning you got nurses, you got doctors to work with, you got all kinds of medical issues that you have to deal with from a regulatory standpoint.
They have a staff of like 100 people.
Yeah,
And this kid knows the business so well that other people are doing them or starting them or having problems with regulations, and he'll go work with them. And the assisted living, that's only about $6,000 a month.
yeah.
Is what they pay for that.
I've sold 12 of them in my real estate career. Yes.
So what's been going around is I've heard that a lot of realtors are getting certified in dealing with seniors because of the tsunami of the baby boomers selling their homes and moving into assisted living, and that the assisted living facilities are giving the realtors 1 month's rent if they can find someone to sign up for that.
That's true.
Have you heard of that?
No, that's true. There's a designation called SRES
Right.
with senior citizens in the real estate business, and you can become certified SRES. In fact, Lily and I are both certified SRES, and I've actually sold 12 independent or assisted living facilities, not including the one here in Andover that we sold to Harvard. It's a function of a cap rate probably 3 points over a normal investment cap rate. So today, if you're looking at a 7.5 cap rate with interest rates, commercial interest rates at 6.5. Remember what we talked about last week or last month? You need a cap rate that's 1 point over the commercial lending rate to make a property cash flow.
Well, that's if you buy the facility,
That's right.
but I'm talking about just being a realtor.
I know, and but any of the facilities will absolutely pay you as a real estate agent to refer, every one. I don't know of any exceptions,
Right.
okay? And the only one that might not would be one that has a waiting list of 50 or 60 people. But most of them don't have.
Right.
So, the property we sold was in a similar interest position now and traded at a 9 cap, and the NOI was just under 3 million. So it sold for 30 million. So, but it's management intensive times
Right.
3.
Yeah. Almost worse than a restaurant.
Way worse than a restaurant.
And actually, on different holidays, they're not going anywhere.
Yep,
Mother's Day and
Yep.
Christmas and Easter. They're putting on a show for the relatives.
the residents and the
Yeah.
relatives.
The biggest surprise I got was a friend of mine did one in Peabody, and he said, "Hey, I'm finishing this up. Mike, come on now, you got to see what I did. This nursing." And I went down there and I said, "Hey, I think you effed up on this. There's no parking here. Couldn't you buy the house next door?" He said, "This is a nursing home."
No parking needed.
Yeah, people put their relatives there. They don't want to come back.
Yeah.
They come back under duress to see them. I'm like, that's kind of sad.
It is.
So let's go to the next page. And this is your personal budget and your business budget. And pay attention to it, fill it out, and it'll give you an idea where you are. The next page is a financial statement, and the financial statement's included so you can drive a stake in the ground as to where you are now. Does that make sense? And you can, if you do one of these every year, I've been doing them for 35 years, it gets really interesting after a few years to see how much progress you're making
You're going to show us
in terms of
the
your net
example-
worth.
The example of the one that you've been doing every year. We don't get to see that.
Nick will show you his. So this is what it looks like filled out.
Good work, Nick.
Thanks. It's like 800 plus inputs on there, isn't it?
Yep.
Quite a bit.
Do you have seasons tickets for the Bruins?
No, that's actually in here though, believe it or not.
My son did that, and now he makes more money, renting
box.
the
Yeah.
box out to pay for the whole thing and live high off that.
It's crazy expensive.
And so the next page, gang, is what we call an independence account, and that's why I got in the real estate business, to build passive income. And most of you know at one time we owned 13,000 apartments. And then we 1031 those into big box industrial buildings, just ahead of 2008 when the real estate disaster was coming down the road. So, and lastly, if you're a real estate agent, the last 2 pages, Tyler, are for you and Nick and Mike, outlining what you want to accomplish in terms of units, gross commission income, and sales volume in the real estate business. So my strong suggestion to you is work on it between now and our next meeting. And if you want to come back with it filled out, I'll go over it with you and we'll spend some time comparing and talking about what we did or didn't do. And you will have increasingly harder times going from 10s to 25s to 50s to 100s. And if you want to learn how to get from one to the other, most everybody in America had their ability to dream taken away when they were 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years old. So it's really hard to fill out as many of these things as we've outlined we'd like for you to fill out, because your ability to dream was taken away. So if you want to change that, close your eyes, talk to yourself, and say you just won the $200 million lottery and you have to spend it all by year end. And then keep filling things out, because it'll take back your ability, you'll recover your ability to dream. And what you'll find in the second step, and I guarantee you this will be true because I've done this with literally hundreds and hundreds of people over the last several years, is that many of the things you can do don't cost any money. And you could have figured it out without having to figure out you got 200 million to spend. And there'll be many things on that list that you can do without any money. So if you choose to go through the exercise, this will, I guarantee you, dramatically change your life. And what you write down, you get. Don't ask me why. I've never understood why. But if you focus on it, if you look at it every day, if you think about it, and you consistently study it, things happen that you never could have believed happened. Will happen, guarantee you.
Sounds like Brewster's Millions.
Yeah. Works.
How come one of these is highlighted in yellow and the next one is highlighted
I
in
don't
green?
know. I have no idea. Don't worry about it. And there's some reading on the back that you can take a look at if you choose to. Dave Ramsey's book and a couple of other things.
One of my favorite books, and just about everybody I know that's successful has read, is Acres of Diamonds. And if it takes you longer than one evening to read that, you've got to go back and finish your GED. It's simple and straightforward. There's a great lesson in it.
So thoughts, gang. Questions. We have 5 minutes.
4.
4, okay.
I have a question for you.
Yes, Tyler.
If you had to give a letter grade to the Trump administration at this point, since when they got into office to now, if you had to give them a letter grade, what would you give them?
Before the war,
Compared to what?
Just how do you, not really compared to anything, but just how you think they are doing and performing?
Well, I have several thoughts, and I'll share them with you. There are days where I wish Trump would keep his mouth closed. But he's the most practical thinking president we've had in my lifetime. And he has the ability to shift gears faster than any president in my lifetime. And I didn't used to think he was very bright. I think he's very bright now, okay? And he did to Iran what 50 years of American presidents wanted to do but didn't have the courage to do. And where he progresses through that negotiation, I'm really interested in, because the Iranians are the toughest negotiators of any country and people in the world. Tougher than the Indians, tougher than the Chinese. They're amazingly tough, and they've been insulated from the rest of the world for 57 years. So, and I'll share a story with you. I have a really good friend who's the largest Persian rug dealer and who has a factory in Qum, Iran. They just blew it up. And I talked to him, and he made silk carpets in his plant in Qum, Iran. And I said, Ken, how do you feel about it? He said, well, I think it cost me $7 million. And it's the best fucking $7 million I ever spent in my life, because we killed the Ayatollah and 80 of his henchmen. He said, I'm not sure we killed enough of them. This is an Iranian speaking. I'm not sure we killed enough of them, but somebody should have done it 50 years ago, because we've been enslaved and treated like slaves for the last 50 years. So it's kind of interesting. He has 5 brothers, and they all work in 5 operations he has. He's headquartered in Nashville, and he's scattered all over the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So that was his assessment of what took place.
I had an interesting assessment when I first started seeing him negotiate with the Saudis and everyone else.
Yeah.
I was thinking that he saw this as a particular issue. He wanted to, I believe, do what he's doing to Europe. And I also believe that he was negotiating for a plan to get rid of that ball and anchor around of Iran, and while the other Arab states were saying, oh, you guys shouldn't be doing this, he got everything smoothed over for him and the Israelis to go off and do their thing.
Yep, it's true.
And that's where, in my opinion, his fourth dimensional thinking has come into play.
Ron's dad was a general in the Israeli army.
Oh, excellent.
And what happened?
He lost a bunch of his friends in a major Israeli war. I grew up hearing him screaming in his sleep. That's why he talks about PTSD. He moved on. He speaks about all the time about never giving up. I think that's what came out of it. Country's still there, so that's a good thing.
And he's a close acquaintance of the president.
Mm-hmm. So he's retired?
No, he's
No.
He's one of the most important jewelers in the country.
Oh, okay.
And his wife is just, to hell, somebody cut that off.
I saw you hit that switch with your
I
foot.
guess the meeting's over.
It probably
7
is.
o'clock.
People that are talking about travel, I worked in Saudi Arabia for 4 years, and it was less expensive for me to fly around the world than to fly from Tehran to New York City
Yeah.
and back.
Yeah.
But you had to take minimum of a month and maximum of 18 months. But because I was working there, I had a lot of friends all over the world. It was fun to take a month,
Yeah.
fly around the world and get back there.
My question is, do you think the trend of people, especially like younger students, moving out of Massachusetts will continue?
Yes. I want you to read buy the Boston magazine, please, and read it before our next meeting, and we'll have a discussion about what's going on in Massachusetts.
'Cause,
The
like,
trend will continue.
personally, I want to move down to like South Carolina. And this
Really, I heard you say that.
a lot of the reasons, yeah. But
I'm
I
heading
was-
down there to look at property.
really, what part?
I'm right on the coast.
Charleston?
Yeah.
That's where I'm looking. Cause it's like 250 gets you 2 full bath right next to 10 minutes down from downtown Charleston. I just think it's such a bargain, especially for like what I want to do, go to law school anyways. I'm
Yeah.
right there in the spot. And the more I got an offer to Suffolk with their trustee scholarship, but it's like I can't justify putting myself in so much debt, and it's like, where am I gonna live in Massachusetts? It's like everywhere is so expensive, even with a lawyer's salary. It's like I'm gonna be living at home as a lawyer until I'm like 28, which is crazy.
I'll
Yep.
have that rubber plant beside your bed
Yeah.
that every lawyer gets.
How old you are?
I'm 21.
And, I mean, besides asking Mr. Bowen, can you give us a consensus of the friends that are your age, what's going on here, instead of?
So, like, a lot of them have just accepted the fact that you're just gonna live at home for a longer time. Like, especially like my friends, my older brother's friends who I talk to, like one's a lineman and he's probably making like 6 figures and just saving at home. And he's like, there's no reason for me to move out. And so I see my friends who are going into accounting, going into finance, and they'll probably make good money. They'll be at home till like they're 26. I can't see them moving out unless you find like a roommate or situation or something. You like co-sign on a mortgage, which at that point it's like it's so weird that like you would want at least for me personally, why I want to move down is I feel like I should have my own living situation if I'm in some sort of like finance, accounting, or like law role.
Can't move out. Okay.
Do you have one insight on AI right now that you think is really interesting?
I think, first of all,
Especially when it comes to jobs.
we're gonna have AGI before the year of 2026 ends. That's like 8 months away.
I looked that up. Can you access AGI or?
Not yet,
Oh, okay.
not yet.
In certain ways you can. There are not
Go turn it back on.
not at the level that Mr. Bowen's been going, but there is certain aggregators which you could like feed an opinion to, a question,
Mhm.
and it will give you the answer, and then it will actually they will give each other a random answer to compare what the other one said, and then they don't know which one gave what, and then they'll reevaluate the answer based on the other one's answers.
Turn it on again, I
At
don't
least
know.
the paper.
Somebody wants us to leave.
Bob, I like asking Alexa once in a while, are you AI? And she'll say, I'm a very particular, specific kind of AI.
Yep,
But I don't do, and then I'll ask, how do you compare to ChatGPT
Yeah.
or Gemini or something?
Do you still believe in like
so let me finish answering your question.
Yes.
I think when AG, and I'll give ye all 2 podcasts to listen to that are worth listening to. America-Unleashed. America-Unleashed. The second is hyper-acceleration.com. Both of those are .com sites. And a guy by the name of Ken Brown is an investment advisor that is one of the good, competent investment advisors in the country. And his podcast talks about what's coming in AI and the impact. I personally think between the end of 26 and July of 27, there's going to be so many thousands of jobs gone that nobody has a clue. So we'll see next year. But I believe nobody has, Tyler, has even a remote clue how many thousands of jobs are going to be shed. However, I think Trump does understand this because he started hiring people in the US government again after using Doge to fire 300,000.
So what does that have to do with AI if he's hiring
The-
people?
He's hiring people for political reasons unrelated to any other reason. He's worried about the midterms, as he should be, in my opinion, because I think I'm a Republican. I think as a Republican, we're going to lose the midterms for the House. And I think there's a 35% chance we might lose the Senate because the American public has such a short memory pattern and they're focused on affordability. And affordability to them means the price of gas at the gas pump. And if the Iran deal does not get settled fairly quickly, $4 or $5 gas is not going to work. It's going to change the makeup of the House and Senate. And I'll go one step further and tell you that my sister ran 110 national Republican campaigns. She was number 2 in the White House under Bush 1 and ran the Division of Personnel in the federal government under Bush 2. So she was really a politico. And I think all of the representatives in the House of Representatives are crooks, maybe except the leader, Mike Johnson. And I've known 50 US senators in my lifetime. And I think at this point in time, I only know one US senator that I would trust with 3 cents. And that's the senator from Ohio by the name of Bernie Moreno, who used to be a Massachusetts resident. I'd trust him with my life. The rest of them I wouldn't trust with 3 cents. So it's not a very pleasant thought to have our politicians in such a state of low regard. And I'm not alone. So, but I think, Tyler, there's going to be thousands of jobs lost from the end of this year into the middle of next year that nobody's anticipating.
They say that the trades are a good bet. Plumbers, electricians, and carpenters.
Plumbers, and today, if you're going to go to college, or you can go to vocational school, my recommendation to everybody is go vocational school and become an electrician or plumber, because we're losing them faster than anything. Now, Ron's tired of hearing it because I've shared it with him 4 or 5 times this week since he's been here. But if you want to take a note and write an interesting stat down, here it is. There's 1,380,000 licensed real estate agents. Last year, 928,000 of them, or 71%, did 0 real estate transactions. 0, nada, zeroski. So they didn't even sell one house. The distressing thing is the next 15%, which takes us, Bill, to 86% of all of the licensed realtors, the next 15% sold 4 or less. So you can't eat and exist on that as a licensed realtor.
Right.
So this firm is in the upper 2,000ths of 1%. And most of our team's clueless about how different we are. Ron, would you say that after 3 days we're slightly different or big time different? How do we compare with all the firms you've interviewed in Florida?
I interviewed 4 firms, ended up at the fanciest one by far. I can tell you within 5 minutes of being here that it's what they put forward in terms of bringing on accountability doesn't come close to the firm. We have like a similar fancy building like this that the owners own in the best area, but what they give the clients is close to the sales associates is close to zero compared to what this firm does, and you notice it the second you walk in the door.
But think about 71% of the licensed real estate agents not selling a single property to anybody. It's crazy to me.
It is.
Crazy. Last year, our agents averaged 37.5 closings per agent. 12 agents averaged 37. 12 agents averaged 37.5 deals, 450 deals.
I just had one fall apart today.
Lillian had 3 fall apart yesterday.
Yeah.
There's what we call going on right now, inspector's revenge.
You wouldn't kill me. I spent 4 hours.
Inspector's revenge.
We used to call that twofers. They'd go to the first house, and it was the worst house, get out of here before you get killed and die for being here. So then an idiot would hire him to do the next one, no matter what that house was. It was the best, highest quality, good bones, brand new appliances, everything. Is that the thing you're talking about?
No, because of the new state law requiring a buyer has to sign an agreement saying that he has the right to do an inspection, and an offer cannot be presented to the seller without that right. And for 5 years, everybody's waived their inspection, because if you were going to an open house and trying to buy a house and there was 30 people there and 14 offers coming in, the way you got the house is you waived the inspection. So many people waived the inspection and then woke up the next week and found out the house needed new gutters and new front steps and new back steps and
boiler
and a roof, and so Massachusetts, in their infinite wisdom, being a blue state, passed the consumer provision that no seller can accept an offer unless the buyer has signed an agreement saying he has a right to do an inspection, and this inspection cannot be waived for the seller to consider his offer. So the inspectors have come out in legion, and they're really punishing us real estate agents like I've never seen.
So can we still waive an
Because the
inspection?
inspectors were out of
You
work.
cannot
Because-
waive the inspection only after the offer is accepted and the seller has acknowledged you're entitled to an inspection. If the buyer, so you're competing with 5 offers. All 5 offers have to have the same documentation saying they're entitled to an inspection,
Sure.
and they get an inspection right. And after they get the right, why would anybody ever waive it? Because the seller can't accept an offer without that right.
And don't you still have to do it even if it's like an off-market deal?
Oh yeah, any kind of a deal. Doesn't make it any difference if it's listed or not. An off-market deal is the same.
Do you know Lenny LeCarry?
No.
I think he's the best. His home inspector license is like a single digit.
Yeah.
He joined my group, and he speaks on a regular basis. My daughter's getting ready to sell the house in Kingston and move into this fancy house they just built. And I said, you're doing stuff that doesn't matter. Why doesn't Lenny come down here, give you a full inspection, and then you'll know what to do, what will enhance the value, and what will cover your butt.
Well, it's interesting, Mike, because for 20 years in Michigan, I did a pre-inspection on every listing and a pre-appraisal. And I always offered the house on the market for $100 less than pre-appraisal, no matter what the pre-appraisal was, and said in the marketing, below current appraisal. And it worked 12,000 times, because that's how many deals I closed.
The absolute worst inspection is Tiger Home inspection. And I
There's
know,
a whole batch of them that aren't very good.
and these are especially bad. I knew them when they started,
Yeah.
and then I think they brought in some attorneys to work there, and I used them on a house I sold. It was a friend of mine. I said, hey, Tiger Home Inspection's coming down. They're going to inspect this. Take a half a day off. You'll learn more about this house than you can imagine. It'll be like a user's guide. And they came down, guy got out of his car, didn't even walk through the whole house, came up with a report, and there was 1 page of nebulous facts, and then 10 pages of disclaimers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You know, I recommended these bastards, and
Didn't they used to call them the blind eye of the tiger?
Yep, they
That was-
did.
Yeah, back in the day.
I mean, you go on their website, it's a nice website.
Yeah.
It tells you everything they'll do, but they don't do it. But Lenny, you'll be trying to leave when Lenny's still going strong.
Yeah.
He's the best.
All right, gang. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Bob.
One last thing, how about that futurist? Is he still
Still
writing a
doing
lot?
it. And you know Mendagas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mendagas and he are writing a book on AI.
Oh, wow.
When is it coming out?
Yeah, be out in the third quarter.
Third quarter of this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
It is
I
cool.
knew that Mendakas was working with them. I didn't realize that they were writing a book together.
They're right. And Dan has had 8 New York Times bestsellers, and this will be another one.
That's so cool.
Tyler, have you
I'll
read
give him my
anything
congratulations.
interesting?
Oh, I've got 2 books for you, in case I haven't given them to you.
Usually he reads about 10 a week and tells us about them.
So
Right?
here's 2 good books. 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil, Sahil Bloom, Bloom. It's the most impactful book I've read in the last 12 months.
Really?
It's amazing.
What was the name of it again?
It's
5 Types of Wealth.
Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. Get it from Amazon. It's worth reading. It's the best book I've read in the last 12 months. Second book is a really fun book written by a close friend of mine who's written 13 New York Times best-selling books and had 8 of them made into movies. Mitch Albom from Michigan. Mitch Albom is a Pulitzer Prize-winning sports writer for the Detroit Free Press. And this book's title is Twice, Twice. It's a story about Alfie, who can change any decision he makes once, but he can't change the decision twice. And it's a really great, fun read.
Isn't he Tuesdays with Maury?
Mitch wrote Tuesdays with Maury. That was his first book.
Do you
And-
think that'd be good for an intelligent 7-year-old?
Probably help.